And Mayank will be running the workshop. And I think they're going to talk about some of the best practices, what you should be looking out for, and how to get the best use of it. So let's have Reshma and Mayank start the workshop.
Excellent, we've got some answers. So welcome, I welcome you to the workshop on technology for e-commerce. My name is Reshma Nagpal, and as Ashish said, I'm the Chief Marketing and Strategy Officer at Dynamic Vertical Solutions. I'll introduce to you Mr. Mayank Shukla, who is the Head of Product Development at DVS. And today, together, we are here to talk about technology, adding value, and how best to utilize this for your online business. So a little background on Dynamic Verticals and why we are here as a technology partner. We are 7 years old as a business and are experts in the business of end-to-end technology for retail, hospitality, and real estate. The topic for today is for e-commerce, so I'm going to jump straight into technology for your business. So when we're looking at technology for e-commerce, let's first understand what is this industry that we are discussing. What is e-commerce? So according to the Gartner Group, a simple definition given, that e-commerce deals with using the internet, digital communications, and IT applications to enable the buying and selling process. So the key here is about enabling the buying and selling process with your vendors and your customers. So while we're all looking at e-commerce as an industry, do we actually understand how big this potential is for us? Let's take a look at how big online commerce is today. I will give credit here to the Boston Consulting Group, who have provided some phenomenal studies and statistics on this industry that we are all very keen on. So between the years 2010 to 2020, looking at India and China as two phenomenal markets, they are estimating that there is going to be a spend of consumption on goods and services of up to $64 trillion between these two countries. For India, the contribution goes to $22.5 trillion. That is a huge phenomenal amount of customer spend. If we break it down to look at the internet penetration within India, so that portion of the trillions that are being discussed to be sold online, how far have we actually got in penetrating the internet online? So predictions have showed, or I should say stats had showed from 2011, that there were 121 million users. It is shown that more than double of that is going to get online in the next couple of years. Are we ready from this and able to handle this growth with our technology applications? And it's interesting to note, if you look at the stats of the urban and the rural population who are online, you should be very excited to see the potential and the growth that remains for those who come online and access your business and purchase your goods. Again, looking at retail revenues as figures, in 2012 it was said that $3.2 billion was figure that of online retail business that was done. Now this is expected to jump by a minimum of 450% by the time we reach 2020. Now that is a huge increase, and again, as business owners, you must be ready and enabled to handle the increase, to handle the volume, and handle the consumption spend. How? By giving fantastic consumer experience. So what does it mean for us? Let's understand this a little bit better. The analysis, and when you actually look at who are you serving through your business, it translates to the fact that the customer is going to end up driving a lot of the business strategy. You must be ready to look at a consumer-driven commerce. We talk about all these figures of commerce and E and what is happening. Well, what does it come down to? It comes down to C-commerce. It comes down to the customer being the focal point of your business. So an E is something that you must be ready and you must have in your portfolio to ensure that the customer is the key and always the focal point of the business that you are driving online. So let's understand some of the characteristics of the customers that we are serving. It's a very interesting fact to see. Of course, we all know that there is a very big young and youthful population in India. But if you actually compare it and you see that in the year, 135 million graduates in India compared to 30 million in the US. That is a very, very big figure of young and youthful consumers that are at the fingertips of purchasing your goods online. What does it mean? It means that they have a growing aspiration, larger disposable incomes. They don't have time to be roaming around continuously. They are hungry. They have a lot of actions in their plan. And they need to be enabled through the businesses to shop conveniently and quickly. They're very tech savvy. Technology, as we know, has grown so much into the hands of the consumers, whether it's devices or smartphones or tablets. You have to be ready to ensure that the brand is visible in the right space for your consumers. They are aware with information on their fingertips. Are you priced at the right touch point? Or is the brand next door got a better touch point for them and is going to give them a better experience? As we said, they're connected 24/7. They have a large reach via the social crowd, so it's no longer about referring a customer or a friend. It is broadcasting your brand across the social world. And are you ready to handle this kind of visibility? So this all leads to the question of why is technology so critical? And I think it's best that we actually take a look to understand for ourselves, why is technology so critical to the e-commerce business? It's just coming in a second.
This is the famous designer whose designs sell like hotcakes from the chain of stores that he has across the country. But the demand for his designs kept growing, so to expand his horizons even more. Decided to take his brand online. Everyone told him going online was the easiest thing to do. So downloaded one of the many e-store templates handily available online. Done, he thought, with a smile. But the smile faded on the 9th day, when he discovered that he had no way of promoting his products to his customers. Gutted, Mayank got a CRM system that could do that. The e-store up and ran for 28 days before Mayank's best friend pointed out that if he doesn't reward the customers, they will feel neglected and may move on to other stores. But since Mayank's current system didn't have that feature, he had to export his data and find a new system that would handle a loyalty system. Another 7 days passed before another thought struck. How was he going to create a buzz about his designs and know what his customers were saying about him if he didn't have his finger on the social media pulse? Running around in circles again, had his systems integrated with all major social media channels. But not a day had passed when he decided on introducing a mix and match promotional offer by cross and upselling some of his items with each other. Moreover, he also wanted a system which could streamline his shipping and manufacturing processes, and realized yet again that he couldn't. No, he landed another system. The peace lasted for exactly 2 weeks when all hell broke loose, because customers finally started writing and calling, but there was no system to track their calls, emails, or their requests. Oh no, said an expert. What you need is a system to manage your call center and have a single customer incident thread. What? Another system? I had nearly tore his hair out. A dozen different systems running at the same time and growing every day. Well, that's not what I signed up for. If only I had known about me.
So we'll stop the video there. I hope that provided an insight as to the current pain areas that I'm sure a lot of you as business owners are experiencing with the online system. To have all the multi-facet client-facing tools at your fingertips to enable the customer experience to provide customer service. And I'd just like to add as we proceed, if anybody has any questions at any point in time, please just raise your hand and we'll take them as they come.
Hello. So, am I audible? So, as we just saw a quick video here, which talked about the pain this gentleman I went through, right? So, do we reflect on it by any chance in terms of the journey towards e-commerce? I'm sure all of us would, right? That's what typically happens. So when you think that yes, we are pure play online player, we want to be online and start a business or an offline player, right? So the first thing is how do we get online at the very lowest cost possible, and obviously and see how it works. It's about experimenting how is it going to work. But the reality is that experiment, if that's a half-baked experiment, is again a risk in itself. So your strategy, if it's not thought through in terms of what you look forward to in the long-term strategy, is really going to have an impact on the outlook as well, right? So this is a classic example where you go online with one of the modules or one of the functionalities that's offering to your customers, because there's a lot more to it. So if you look at the key drivers which drive the e-commerce setup and e-commerce environment, so it starts with having an e-commerce store. That's what we call as a web store, where you can showcase your catalog, you can sell, you can take a transaction and do some fulfillment there. Then it starts with, obviously, when you're selling, then there's a realization that how do we do some back office management, the financial and accounting team comes into play, your fulfillment and manufacturing processes are impacted again. Therefore, there's a need to do some integration with the existing systems or a new system to be taken up. That follows with the customer. So the orders are in, the customers start buying your orders or buying the products. Now, how do you support them? How do you know that this is the same customer? How do you recognize him further? So it's about the engagement with the customer which comes into play. Therefore, that comes the CRMs which comes into the picture. Loyalty, again. So now you need to say, yes, you are coming again and again, you are being loyal to us, and you're even going to the social environment and the customer is talking about you as a brand. How do you recognize him further? So therefore, there's another system which plugs in, that's a loyalty management. Right? Social media. So there's another, you need a tool which manages your social media. You need to automate that, because if you're on a manual environment, with all these stack or building blocks, it's going to be a tough time. Right? So it's about having a, so again, coming back to the key topic we were talking about, is the technology which will drive your e-commerce environment. So the key factor which impacts the success of an e-commerce story is about having operational excellence. You need to have a solution which takes you through and through. You start with a basic experiment and you move on, right? And the platform grows along with you. So it should not be a throwaway venture where you say, let's see, let's try. If it works, we'll scale up. We'll get another product in place. But your success during that experiment completely depends on what you have started off with, right? So that's the key factor which I'm trying to highlight. So this cross-channel management, now comes your vendor, right? So customer is online, he's buying your stuff, and you have orders coming in. You scale up, you get more orders in. Now how are you managing your vendor environment? Because once your volumes increase, you need to have some automation there, or you have an army of people working for you. You have an army which is in finance and accounting, army managing your vendors, army managing your technology stacks which are multiple in totality, right? And that really impacts the excellence, because a lot of data which is flowing from one system to the other will definitely drop through a crack between, right? And customer would be like, he will be irritated, your vendors will be irritated, right? And you will have a tough time getting a centralized single view of what's the truth which is happening in your business, right? That's extremely important.
Very true, Mayank. And just to add as well, I mean, I'm not sure how many, if I could have a show of hands, how many of your businesses here are operating stores as well as online? Okay. So you will understand that the facets and the points that Mayank has touched upon, this is integral not just for the online, but also within your stores. If I'm a customer and I come into the store level and I make a purchase, am I recognized as the customer? Is my loyalty confirmed there? Do I have an option to talk about the brand on social media right at the point of sale where I'm checking out? Am I then, when I'm going to go onto the online store, recognized and my purchases updated? Am I treated as a seamless customer across all your brand touchpoints? This is where technology is integral, because manual intervention is something that's going to land you in trouble, and technology enables me as a consumer to have a completely consolidated, integrated experience across all the brands of your touchpoints you provide to me.
And just taking it forward from one is the customer side, which we just talked about. So again, on the vendor side, we do not pay attention initially. It's like vendor is working along with us. It will be managed as we go on. But with the number of channels coming in, there's a dropship model of sale as well. There are multiple channels through which you are selling, right? And if you start, so key is to consolidate them as well into one system, right? So because the current environment of e-commerce in India is evolving. So you can never say, today I'm good to go and my system is in place and I can take a back seat and relax about it. That's not the reality. Every single day would be different. And if it is not, and you're in a complacent situation where yes, the product is good and I'm fine with it, there is something wrong. Because e-commerce is yet to stabilize. It's yet to come to a level where we can say we have achieved what we want to. And every single day you will have new processes, new ways of working, new methods of interacting with customers and your suppliers, where your system has to scale up and be agile for all these things to be accommodated. So coming to the, so obviously with all this information together in the stack, you need a lot of information which you need to churn. So yesterday we had a workshop around big data as well, right? So that's again very important. You need to analyze what information you have got, maybe from the social media, maybe from customer transactions, maybe from your products which are selling and your vendor performance as well. Because vendor performance is extremely important when you are a reseller, because if you're getting because the visibility has to be there. If a certain product is being shipped in, right, and you're getting it from the vendor as delivery, how are you managing the quality of your vendor? Is he giving the right product, right quality, right? Is there any reject which is happening? If so, why is that happening, right? How do you control the fall through of such an impact? How do you prevent a loss, right? So that is again critical, because tomorrow you want to see a dashboard or a report which tells you why is your profitability at an X value. Why is it not higher? For that, you need all these stats together. So this reporting and analysis is extremely important. Now, I'm sure we'll do a Q&A about it. There'll be questions around how do we get the whole thing together, right? It's about, do you invest everything upfront, or do you just keep plugging in multiple modules together and see how it works out, right? So the fact is you have to start small. You will have to start small, but evaluate your platform or the product or the solution you're looking at which can take you to that level. So vision has to be long term. Your mission may be, let's start with that long term vision and look at an investment which can take you there. It should not be a throwaway effort altogether. So in terms of business expectations, right? So as we see, I see the audience here is completely from the business side and technology too. So the business demands agility. And as I just pointed out, e-commerce is still warming up in India. There's a long way to go, right? So the business will expect agility and will change processes. Your technology department, your technology vendor has to be agile to adapt with that need, right? So it cannot say, you have a small need, you want to change your business process. It should not be going to works again, doing the development again, coming back with a certain cost for doing that change. So that agility is required. Your strategies have to be customer-centric. You cannot say, alright, so let me do this, what I offer is what I sell, and let's see how it goes. Rather than start from the customer. How would he like to interact with you? How would he like to buy products from you? What he is expecting from you as a brand, right? Therefore, your business comes around it. So you need to convert your customers to fans, right? Because we talked about social media as well. So, and we talked about broadcasting of information from a customer rather than just doing a word of mouth. That's a thing of the past. So therefore it's extremely important. If they are loyal with you, they should talk about it. And if they're talking about it, you should know who that person is who's talking about you so nice. Good interaction with you. And therefore let 10 other people or 100 other people know about it.
And you would imagine, if you have brand ambassadors who are your consumers, your marketing spend in trying to excite new customers to come in will automatically go down, because you don't have to go to that effort. The customer is doing it for you. Now, wouldn't you all love to be in a position where the customer is actually the brand ambassador who's driving your business forward? That should be enabled through the system.
So yeah, just to add to it, customers are critic these days. He's not going to say good product, nice, or may say nothing. He'll really criticize what he is selling. He'll see your website, he'll come to the interaction with you, he'll compare you with the best. He'll compare your services like comparing it with Amazon. But you have just started, you have been there for a year. Amazon has been there for a long time. But still you have been compared with them. So your operational excellence around giving that service to him has to match to that level. So compare yourself to the best service providers, best experiences. And that will get your story to be a success story. So yeah, so the need is to penetrate the rural and global market as well. And we did talk about, it was mentioned in one of the sessions, that you need to think globally, right? You are playing local, but think global. Think about the entire country as your, initially you might say, I'm in this region, operating in the region, but go through the country. Then eventually, long-term going global. That's the key plus of e-commerce, right? You have the entire world at your disposal and you can sell them.
The important fact, rightly said, Mayank, you have to understand again the consumer. If I'm targeting a particular product, now which market is that suited for? Have I done my analysis? Is it the urban? Is it the rural? What is the price point? What is the back end? Is it male? Is it female? What is the age group? This is a lot of analysis to actually take care of when you're looking at all the different products in your stack. But it's extremely critical to do this analysis because the promotions, the marketing, the offers, the color scheme, everything will depend upon who is the end consumer that you are targeting. So please don't neglect to do this analysis because it will ensure the ROI coming back to you from the campaigns that you are doing. It's a very fundamental aspect. We saw at the start about the consumer spend that's projected up to the year 2020 or in the year 2020. Did you see the breakdown between urban and rural? These are huge market segments, but you cannot just bracket everybody in the same scheme. Everybody has a personal taste, a personal flavor. You must ensure that you as a business owner are targeting those consumers on their preferences. They will not say it's okay to treat me like you treat Mayank or anybody in the room. I want to be known by my name. I want to be known by my preferences. I want you to send me offers based on what I like, what I am purchasing, the colors I prefer. It has to be intelligent and you have to drive the centricity of your customer and the business connect through technology in a very smart way.
So that again brings back the fact the technology should enable you to do the same, right? So that's extremely important. So again, experiments, you can experiment, right? But you would not like to. You like to hit right at the very first time and make it successful, right? So while you do that, extremely important fact is about thinking long term, all what can be done, the universe of what can be implemented and you want to do in the long term. Change is unavoidable. So be ready for change. Every step would have a new value will come out, new learning, right? The customer will let you know, your vendors will let you know, your employees will let you know. Listen to them. Basis that, be ready for a change. Yeah, so all this is extremely important, which boils down to doing an operational excellence end to end, from customer till the time you are fulfilling to your vendors, the entire gamut.
So in terms of the missing pieces, if we just ponder on this, then what is important is the customer retention, right? We talked about it. So Reshma, would you like to highlight?
Sure. I mean, I would like to take some feedback from you in the audience. How many of you find that the technology you're currently employing is actually personalizing the service for consumers? If you could just raise your hands if you're happy with the customer experience. Wow. Okay, so let's make sure. Who's unhappy with the customer experience that is being provided? Okay, so the rest of you are on the fence? Let's take a little further. So there's only two people who have raised their hands to say unhappy. Nobody raised their hands to say happy. So where is this missing piece? I just want to understand while we address this issue because it's very important. How many of you are online retailers? Okay. How many of you are technology providers? Okay. So with the online retailers, let me ask you and express it to you. The service that's being provided, do you address your customers personally? Do you find that's a challenge with the feedback that you get? Okay. Okay. All right. So then that would come very fundamentally to this point because if I take myself as a consumer, I love to shop. Now, the engagement and how you treat me as a consumer when I come online. You recognize me? I'm sure you are. That's the number one step. Do you understand what I purchase and how I purchase? So if I'm browsing particular items, are you recording that history so you know where I'm looking? Which kind of colors, which items in your fashion? Am I looking at t-shirts? Am I looking at trousers, dresses? What do I end up purchasing? And when do I drop off? So all of these customer touch points, if you actually analyze them, you would realize that the missing key that I believe would be there is about offering a centralized system to me, a personalized experience to me. So I'm not sure if the engagement level is high enough with each of your consumers. I would think, and we can discuss this again later, I would think that that would probably be the missing gap between why you're not seeing that level penetrate higher. So we go to the key steps. I mean, what do we as technology advisors see for our clients as the key steps for you to engage and increase your profitability? From a customer perspective, yes, you have to get the reach. You have to go online. That's a fundamental first step. but it's only the first step. Your business and technology should not stop there. It is absolutely critical to engage with your customers. Do not think just because they have done a purchase or they visited your site that that is enough. It is not enough. You will find competition every day, a new site coming up every day. So how are you going to differentiate yourself? How are you going to differentiate the service that you provide? So while you engage with your consumer, you must be humble enough to learn as your journey evolves. There are going to be findings that are coming in every day. Do you have feedback for your consumers on every page? How are you localizing it to their taste? Are you taking surveys on what they're enjoying, what they're not? Are you covering the products that they even like? So there's a big level of engagement that you must ensure takes place with the consumers through the system that you're selling your products on with. Then we go to empowering. Sorry, just going back to this shoe. Empowering the consumer is also very important because you cannot forget that the feedback and crowdsourcing that comes on the social side, don't neglect that. There are tools that are available to actually scrub the social world and see what is being said about your brand, your competition. If I'm in fashion and I'm selling t-shirts, for example, what is being said about all the other t-shirt providers? Do I even know? Maybe I'm missing out on a complete genre of taste that I'm not catering to. These tools and technologies are available today. So it will enable you as a business, it will empower you and ensure engagement with the customers. And of course, you must analyze the data that's coming in. So how does one go about this? How do we go about technology? You must ensure that you are open to the concept of collaboration. It is really key. You should not be investing all the time to reinvent the wheel. That is not really the strategic approach as a business that you want to take. If something is working well and it's proven, take it. It adds value and you can tweak it as your business grows. Collaboration, whether it's vendors on a supplier, logistics, delivery stage, whether it's IT, these are all strategic moves that you must be planning at a business level. Of course, when you're choosing the technology to run your business operations, please bear in mind scalability. As Mayank had said at the start, to make an investment at the start that ends up being thrown away, it's a waste of expense. Pick a platform and a technology that will ensure that your business can scale up, that the platform will scale up as you grow. Does it have a strong, robust roadmap? Are they understanding the nuances of the customers that you are serving? Please remember scalability is critical if you want your business to be there for the long run.
So just to add to that, so scalable systems, right, and platforms. Now there are two levels of scalability. One is your business process ready to scale, right? Can it scale? For getting that scalability, how many additional people or resources or costs do we need to incur to scale to that level, right? So if you are scaling up, for example, you might be doing 10 orders in a day. So tomorrow you are doing 100 and 1,000 and so on. So you need to sit back and see that with that level of orders coming in, is your current capacity from technology as well as business processes and people in your organization, how many more do you need, right? Will that suffice your scale or not? So what is that point at which you'll come to critical mass of people in your business and you see the bottom line getting impacted, right? So if you feel your system will need more people, your processes will need more people, then you need to seriously think about your scale up, right? And the other part is the technology front. With the business process helping out, you need a technology system which scales up along with you. It should not be a throwaway effort. For example, you get a system today and 2 years down the line, you need another one. Because that's not scaling up. Or that has been customized to a level that it's reached a point of no more customization, or even a single change is taking forever. So if you're about to reach that scale, or you feel that would happen, then again, that really impacts the growth.
So again, I think we've covered this point. The customer focus is absolutely critical. You must be able to listen and again be humble enough to hear what the consumer is saying. Because if you think everything is right and you have it right without taking the feedback, your competition is going to get in. So please ensure that customer focus is maintained minute by minute, second by second. And this is the biggest enabler that technology can provide to you as well. Listening and hearing your customers, but then what actions are you taking? How fast is it for that feedback that comes in to be transferred into actionable
question which came up. How do I capture and what do I capture from customer standpoint? Right? What all information, what all data points? Do we need the address? Do we need his income group? Do we need his marital status or what all? Right? So one, that was the classic way the marketing used to work earlier. When I was the customer, please fill the form, we give you royalty, we give you some discount and capture the information. Right? That's one. Now, is every customer ready to do that? Nearly, I mean, very few percentage of the customers would be filling that information. Will that be accurate? We don't know that. Right? So then what's the smarter way of getting the information from the customer and working around it? So the concept is about tracking the behavior. Why? The information which you're capturing is not to know his address or his information. It's about eventually cross and upselling and engaging the customer more. Right? So therefore you are trying to understand what is his interest in buying and where will he end up being like 3 years down the line as an acquired customer. Right? Therefore what's important is to understand the behavior. You need to understand with one purchase or two purchase max and triangulate that information and say this customer falls into this group. Right? Purchase pattern gives you a lot of wealth of information. Right? Rather than even a demographics cannot give you that information at all. Right? So I may be in a certain age group, right? I may be of a certain class of voting or employment or anything, but that may not directly be my trend of buying. It may not. What is important is when I'm purchasing a product, with that purchase you should know what I could purchase further. So that's the key in terms of identifying the movement of a customer. Automated and integration platform, we talked about it at length. So when it's extremely important that you do not, what's important is here, you don't need an army. You do not need an army when you scale up to manage the systems at all. And the cost of managing that should neither go up. So that's extremely important. Global outlook, we talked about it. So it's about having a global presence, thinking global, and cross-pollinating across systems as well. So your systems should also integrate seamlessly. Because you'll have a lot of players which will come in. You'll have a lot of contributors with whom you collaborate. So for that, your system should help you in doing that.
So if we look at summarizing what we've covered today, I mean, the point for you as business owners when you're evaluating technology to help your business online, there's some key pointers to keep in mind. Is the system scalable and available to me at an affordable cost when I'm starting my operations? Is the system adaptable? Can it adapt to my changing needs and the changing needs of my consumers? Is the system integrated with its own customer focus? Does it enable me to listen and to make changes on the fly? Or do I have to invest continuously to customize, customize, and customize? Am I able to do targeted marketing through my system? Am I able to offer preferred schemes and focus on what the buying preferences are of my consumers? Or am I just catering to the masses? Because catering to the masses will not be the approach that works. Am I looking at collaboration? Does the system enable me to collaborate across the chain of my relationships? Customers, vendors, suppliers, logistics. How is my system enabling me to collaborate? And of course, does it allow me to go global? Does it allow me to be innovative that I can even tweak it according to customer preferences across countries, across cities, across a particular niche market within that city? You have to have the scalability and forethought. I mean, we met a very interesting business today who has clients in over 80 countries. That is a huge market. Now, how are you ensuring that the system is enabling that preferential advice and targeted marketing for your consumers? Technology is a big enabler there, and that is one thing that you must all keep in mind when you're evaluating platforms for going online.
So, primarily, I mean, just to, these are, in fact, these are the key decision makers for you to understand and to make a call on what technology solution are you going for. So you must keep this in mind and take a very cognizant decision on the product or a solution or a platform you engage with. Because that's your success factor. Because that will be the one which will adapt your business processes. That system will be the one which will scale your system up, your businesses up, and deliver the results. So I think now we throw the forum for questions.
Yeah, we'd like to open up to hear from you, please.
Solutions on .NET
and there are vendors offering solutions on PHP. I don't understand what are they. And both of them, they provide the benefits, and that confuses the entrepreneur. So can you help us? What is best? Either the open source like PHP or .NET?
So, I'll take that.
What should be the factors in deciding? I'm sure both of them have got benefits or merits and demerits, but what should be the deciding factors when you decide with .NET or PHP?
Okay, that's a good question. So, in terms of technology, right, as you said, PHP or a .NET, maybe some other technology language, right? So, language is not a barrier, right? Any solution may be a well thought through, crafted platform solution, maybe in any language, but it should have a roadmap. It should scale up. It should adapt to your business needs, right? If your solution in .NET can do it, that's great, right? And for example, we have solutions which have, platforms which like Amazon. People have come up with their own platform development itself. So it's not necessary. You may even have an in-house product which is developed. But while that is developed, you need to ensure that it scales up. It should not be a hard-coded development approach. It should be an architectural platform approach, right? So a lot of companies like Amazon did an experiment. The approach they take is do it in-house, make it generic, make it a platform, and then roll it out. Make it open source, right? So that's the thought process of the vendor you engage with, and the platform or product you engage with should be the same. So I would say PHP or .NET or Java, maybe Python, really doesn't matter. It's the outcome of the development which is done on that platform that is important.
So at the start, there's no limitation that you would say from either one to the other.
Yeah. So you should just evaluate basically features and functionalities and the scalability rather than the technology language.
Any other questions? Understand about technology for e-commerce. So are any of you having any current pains? Is this something you would like to discuss from a technology perspective, please?
Analytics. We get a lot of data which is coming in. Okay, these are geographical data. We put our goals. We see that they are getting converted or not. But when we go for personal marketing, as we were talking about, that how do we or what are the tools which helps us to tell that this customer likes pink color, for example. Okay? And when he comes in, I help him to only serve pink color. Do we do this web cache? Because he can delete the web caches. Or do we have the whole journey of his in our website recorded, and when he comes, we customize it the same way he wants it or she wants it? How do we cater to this? And plus, what are the analytics which tell us that this is, few analytics we'll get it from Google, but there should be some analytics which tells us that these are the customers who are coming in, they have browsed through this, they do not like the products that we are showing because they do not spend a lot of time. And then we move to different products. So that becomes a UI. So this is all integrated. But how do we solve this?
Okay. So in terms of, the good thing is, I don't know whether you capture the actual data or not across these touch points you talked about. But the key is we capture the information. One, Google Analytics gives you a platform where all this information is stored in terms of the movement of a customer to your website. But again, that's not granular to that level of detail, right? That's one. Second approach to capture is your website or your system should allow you where you can have your logs of movement of a customer based on the cookie you may drop, right? If you know his movement and you'll be able to correlate, this is the same customer who came in last time. There are chances customers may just delete the cookies. Next time you will not have it. You will have it as a fresh customer. But if you have a unique cookie ID, there are ways to find it out. If you have a unique cookie ID, you can tag the customer back that he was the same guy who came in. Even IP address. You use that information to do a geolocalization of your website, right? Having said that, what's important now, the third part what we talked about, is a customer browsing your website and may not purchase a certain product, will go through it, may add items to the cart, we just check it, we just shut the site and go away. So even that information is important, and you need to store that. Now, like Google Analytics you talked about, that's one approach of doing it. The other is once you come to a certain scale, there is a solution which is a buy solution, which is what you want. So it's your own enterprise solution, and all your, in place of GA code, you will have your PI codes. That will go into the buy setup. And you will have granular
So when you go live, like with the setup, when you're launching, you may not go overboard with everything day zero, because there's a lot of information still coming. You need to go step by step and take information piece by piece. Important is that you need to start analyzing it. Right? Analysis is about triangulation of information together. So your system should allow you to do analysis and reporting around data points. The data points should get connected. So if we have analytics, we have Google Analytics, we have customer movement on the website, how are they linking together? If they don't link, they make no sense. Right? So that linking out of the box is key. And if you have that linking together, you get smart dashboards which will tell you what's going on.
Can you also expand on the point of, you mentioned about the customer preference, if someone likes a particular color, or how to ensure that that data is captured so I can intelligently feed it back to my consumer. Well, that's not paid. If I'm searching only on pink, it may not mean I just like pink. So the focus should just be to stay on one, but how to smartly add weightages to make it actually triangulate in the right way.
So that's it. I just talked about it during the slide as well. It's about behavior analysis. It's not about his demographics or social graphic information. It's about his buying interest. What did he serve? What particular product he looked at, right? So you will have customers in different age groups looking at products you will never think of they could buy, right? So that's a very interesting fact as well. There would be people who may not be ready to spend a huge amount, but certainly they will spend something. That will be like a triangulation of extreme of data, right? So it's about the buying pattern. You need to take that buying pattern and call out behaviors of the customers. Put weightages to the behaviors. There are technologies and algorithms which do it, where you put weightages to each behavior movement against a product. And over a period of few purchases, you know that, so obviously prediction is not 100% accurate, we all know it, but it's about going as close as possible. So you can ask systems which can give you 80 to 90% of accuracy of what should be cross and upsell to a certain customer.
So any other pains that are being experienced by business owners or even technology providers who wish to ask a question, please?
Aspect of building an online presence which enables you to collect this data. The second aspect is to have an analysis of this data as to study the customer's behavior. And the third aspect is to make now action based on that. So, are you providing the solution end to end for all these three steps, or are we left on our own?
That's a very fair question. Absolutely, we do provide an end-to-end solution for businesses who are taking their business online. We have an end-to-end web commerce platform, and this is built on open source technology that covers all the pains and nuances that we've covered over today. So right from enabling the business or empowering the business to collect data, to actually consolidate the data, to take action on the data, and to manage those different business processes, yes, we do have a solution for that.
So something small like a customer drop-off is viewing a particular product a couple of times, not buying. You will arrange a call back. I'm just getting very specific.
Yes, very true. So there are various means where you can get back to the customer. One of the basic things is when he's on your site going through a flow, and he may say, for example, stick to a page for a while, you can just pop up the chat one. Right? If that doesn't work, you on the same page you can throw up a discount. If he still goes off 30 minutes of an SLA and nothing happens, there is a call which can be sent out to the customer on an email. First you say, it has to be subtle. It doesn't have to intrude the customer that, hey, I was on your site and you called me up, come on, what's happening, right? So therefore, you send out an email, say after 30 minutes of an hour. And it depends on the commodity you're trying to sell, right? I'll just take an example of the travel industry. If you're buying a flight and you just drop off from a certain stage, the system will try and send an email, you were trying to buy a certain flight or a hotel and you check and you just did not buy, what happened? Because that's an extremely quick transaction where you take a decision now and then you're done. Right? So that's the level of engagement where you get to. Plus, obviously, these are called as hot leads. So a customer comes on your site, adds a product to the cart, and just does not buy. Right? Or comes to the last mile and just moves out. That's a hot lead. You need to arrange a call back for you. So that gets into the incident tracking and process flow around it. And you need to have SLAs around each stage. So for customer, hot lead stays hot for 30 minutes. 31st minute it's gone. Right? So that's important where your system gives you the workflow where you can manage these stages.
And just to give you an example, for a couple of clients, it varies also as to your size. So for example, we have a very small very concerned about the customer service. So the SLA that's set is 2 hours. We have a much bigger player who's literally said within 60 seconds of that dropout happening, I want a calling agent to connect with that customer and find out why they didn't continue with the purchase. So you can allow the business and your SLAs to also grow with you as time goes on. You may not be in a position where you could do a 30 or a 60-second callback, but if you set a time that at least as a consumer, you would know, I'm happy if I'm connected back in within a day. You will be able to, adjust to that system and improve those SLAs as a business as well. Anybody else? Any other problems? Any pains? Because we're here to help you and provide any knowledge that we can to make your business operations easier. Any thoughts? Any questions? No? All right. Is there anything you would like to ask us as technology providers? Are there any business processes you want us to elaborate on or some pain areas that you'd like to discuss? Thank you.
Right? It's catching, you get to catch up in terms of support across browsers. So once that is there, you take care of a lot of your pains, right? The things will become lighter. You will have a lot more that you can do on the client anymore. So graphics will really change a lot, right? So, and that's where, because keeping children in mind, that's where you should keep your focus on. So that would solve your main point. And plus, the good part is, with mobility, HTML5 with mobility can help you build smart apps which is a hybrid app. You use the shell and you use the same HTML5 across all these apps or across devices. So your overall maintenance cost of the app is low, but you are catering to very good graphical information for the customer.
Okay, so I think we're run out of time in any event. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. Our team are also here. There's Bimal Sachdeva at the back. Please give a wave, Bimal. So for businesses who are with stores and looking to go online, or if you're pure play retail, if you have any questions in hospitality as well, let me add. If you have any questions at all, or you need any advice or guidance, please do connect with any of us and we'll be more than happy to help you. And I hope you enjoyed the session today, so please do provide us any feedback after. Thank you very much for your time.